That warm ceramic mug you're clinging to isn't just a morning comfort. It is a highly sensitive barometer for global economic panic. It's a disturbingly accurate measure of your own financial denial. Every single sip you take is a subconscious vote of confidence in the global supply chain. Or it's a quiet whisper of your own impending financial doom. You've been conditioned to believe it's just a harmless morning ritual. I am here to tell you it's one of the most honest, leading economic indicators you can track. The price of your favorite flat white is practically screaming a warning at you. The real question is, have you trained yourself to listen? So let's break down the real, brutal cost of that caffeine addiction. Forget the tired advice about saving $5 on a latte. This conversation is about understanding the deep, systemic cracks in our financial world. These are cracks that begin on a drought-stricken farm thousands of miles away. They snake their way through ports, politics, and panicked markets, and they end, inevitably, with a fracture right through your personal finances. We're going to dissect how the humble coffee bean predicts recessions. We will explore why your desire for it reveals your deepest money fears. And finally, we will determine if this is your last cup before everything changes. So stay put, because this isn't just about coffee. This is about survival. Let's start with the big picture. Coffee as a global economic messenger. Think of the price of coffee not as a single number, but as a complex index of global health. It's a blend of agricultural reality, geopolitical tension, and logistical nightmares, all distilled into the cost of your morning cup. It's more sensitive than many of the polished metrics Wall Street tries to sell you. For example, when a sudden frost hits the primary Arabica growing regions of Brazil, the market doesn't just shrug, it convulses. Futures contracts spike instantly, not because the coffee in your local shop has vanished, but because the future time supply is now threatened. This is a direct signal of climate volatility impacting a core commodity. A warning shot that climate change isn't an abstract concept. It's a direct tax on your life. Similarly, look at Vietnam, a powerhouse in Robusta bean production, the more bitter, highly caffeinated bean used in instant coffee and espresso blends. A drought there, driven by changing weather patterns, cripples supply. This forces major corporations to either pay more or switch their blends, passing the cost to you. Your instant coffee suddenly costs 20% more, and it's not corporate greed, it's the planet sending you an invoice. This fragility is a core lesson. The system that brings you your simple cup of coffee is a miracle of global cooperation, but it's a miracle built on a knife's edge. A single port strike, a new shipping tariff, a sudden spike in fuel costs. Each event sends a shockwave down the line. That shockwave doesn't dissipate. It amplifies until it sloshes right into your cup as a higher price. Now, let's bring this inside your head. Why do you really buy that $5 coffee? Be honest, it's rarely just for the caffeine. You're buying a feeling. You're purchasing a small, predictable slice of normalcy in a chaotic world. It's a ritual that provides comfort and a sense of control when your salary, your investments, or your job security feel anything but controlled. This is a well-documented psychological phenomenon called affordable luxury. When large goals, like buying a home, paying off student debt, or retiring comfortably, seem impossibly distant, we retreat to small, attainable luxuries. We can't control the housing market, but we can control the quality of the coffee we drink. It's a psychological trade-down, a coping mechanism to stave off feelings of financial helplessness. But here is the brutal truth. This coping mechanism can become a form of profound financial denial. Each expensive coffee becomes a micro-surrender. It's an implicit statement that you've given up on the bigger picture. You're sedating your financial ambition with oat milk and single-origin espresso. The problem isn't the $5. It's the mindset of defeat that the $5 habit represents when it's a substitute for real financial planning. Think of it this way. Your daily coffee habit is data. If you track your own consumption, you might notice you buy more expensive coffee on days when you feel financially stressed or powerless. It's self-medication. Recognizing this pattern is the first step. It's not about guilt. It's about seeing the habit for what it is, a symptom of a deeper financial anxiety that needs to be addressed, not masked with caffeine. Now let's look at the journey itself, the physical path of the bean. It's a masterclass in global fragility. A bean grown in the mountains of Colombia is picked by hand, processed, packed into sacks, loaded onto a truck, driven to a port, loaded onto a massive container ship, sailed across an ocean, unloaded, put onto another truck or train, delivered to a roaster, roasted, packaged, and shipped again to your local cafe. Every single step adds cost and risk. Consider the shipping alone. The cost of moving a 40-foot container skyrocketed during the pandemic and remains volatile. This isn't just a coffee problem, it's an everything problem. But because coffee is a non-essential good with a high volume, it's one of the first places you see the impact. When the cost to ship the beans doubles, the roaster can't absorb that. That cost is a direct pass-through to you, with a little extra added on top for their own trouble. This is why I call coffee the canary in the coal mine. Its complex but understandable supply chain makes it the perfect diagnostic tool for the health of the global economy. If coffee is getting expensive and hard to source, it means the entire system of global trade is under stress. The same pressures affecting your latte are affecting the microchips for cars, the lumber for houses, and the medicine for hospitals. Coffee is just the one you notice every single morning. So let's get personal. I want you to perform a thought experiment. What is your last cup price? At what dollar amount does your daily coffee switch from a justifiable routine to an absurd luxury you must cut? Is it $7? $10? $15? Find that number in your head right now. Be brutally honest with yourself. That number you just thought of is one of the most important data points in your financial life. It's not just about coffee. It's your personal, customized inflation sensitivity index. It's the precise point where global economic pressures finally overwhelm your personal budget and your psychological comfort. It's your financial breaking point made tangible. Here's the critical insight. You should not wait until you hit that price to take action. If your favorite drink is approaching your last cup price, that is not the signal to start times worrying. That is the signal that you should have prepared 6 months or a year ago. It's a fire alarm, and by the time you hear it, the fire has already started. Your goal should be to make that number irrelevant. So what is the solution? Is it to stoically give up coffee and drink muddy water, saving yourself $50 a month? No. That is a loser's mindset that's playing defense on the 1-yard line. Treating the symptom, not the disease. The disease is financial fragility. The cure is building a robust, anti-fragile financial life. Use the coffee index as your intelligence report from the front lines of the global economy. If coffee prices are spiking due to shipping costs, what does that tell you about the stocks of logistics companies? What does it imply about the cost of all other imported goods in the coming months? Start thinking 2 steps ahead. Don't just react to the price of your latte. Use that information to anticipate the price of everything else. This means your priority isn't cutting coffee, it's building a financial fortress. This starts with a brutally oversized emergency fund. Not 3 months of expenses, but 6, 9, or even 12. This isn't just for job loss anymore. It's a buffer against sudden, sharp shocks to your cost of living. It's the fund that lets you absorb a 30% increase in your grocery bill without flinching, and without sacrificing your morning ritual if you don't want to. Next, it means true diversification. If the global supply chain is sputtering, are all your investments tied up in companies that depend on it? It means owning assets that are resilient to inflation and logistical chaos. It's about reducing your dependence on a complex, fragile system that has repeatedly shown its potential for failure. It's about building your own personal supply chain of wealth. In the end, the goal is to reach a state of financial strength where the price of a cup of coffee becomes what it should be. An interesting economic data point, not a source of personal anxiety. It should be a choice, not a financial casualty. You should not be hoping the world allows you to keep your small comforts. You should build a life where you are so financially sound that you can afford them no matter how chaotic the world gets. Don't wait for the world to serve you your last cup. The warnings are already here, swirling in the steam of every espresso, hidden in the bitterness of every bean. The real question is not what the coffee is telling you about the world, but what you are going to do about what it is telling you about yourself.